Okay, so both of these have had the crazy stalker characters. So of course, looking at AJ Lee, uh, currently April Brooks, and Mickie James. Mickie James was known for her Trish Stratus impersonation. She was a crazy Trish Stratus fan. Phenomenal match with Trish Stratus. So she's slightly, well, she effectively is the era before AJ Lee. AJ Lee, of course, was easily the height and one of the most popular women during the true Divas era, when all of a sudden there's no longer the Women's Championship, but just predominantly the Divas Championship. So I do these in a different standpoint, because I'm actually looking at it from physical standpoint, their in-ring, and the psychology they did as well. And as always, if it ends up being, I think I've got a 9. I think I've got 9 of these things. So if it ends up being, a difference of 1, you can make the case either way. If it ends up being a difference of more than 1, that's more difficult. Look at back when I did my AJ Styles John Cena. I had AJ winning, and look, AJ's beat John Cena twice. So maybe, just maybe, the E follows what I'm doing. Of course, AJ Lee left shortly after her marriage with CM Punk. She's doing well. If you see her in the street, don't bother her, don't hug her. Just leave her be. She's done. She has a book coming out next year. Hopefully it does very well. Mickie James left the E, did some work with TNA, did some other work. Ironically, she was in Shimmer over the weekend, but I get my brochures from them like Thursday for shows on Friday and Saturday. She will also be showing up in NXT for TakeOver Toronto, ironically on my birthday. So thank you, E, for giving me a Mickie James Asuka match for my birthday. Cool. So let's get right into this. Strength. I don't think people have an issue if I go strength is Mickie James. Mickie James actually is 2 inches taller, and according to build weight, has 20 additional pounds on her. And you can look at AJ. AJ is cut, but not someone who's had a lot of the way of power moves. So I also can say I can go with speed. Give that of course to AJ. AJ is known for very quick in-ring movement. She did a very good job with that. Endurance. Actually, I'll quickly breeze through those. If you watch an AJ Lee match, you know that even though she was wrestling heel, but had a face crowd reaction, she normally had the face moment of getting beaten down the entire match, and then playing out at the very end. Mickie James, during her time in TNA as Hardcore Country, actually had a lot more vicious and brutal matches. Plus, given the difference in time eras, Mickie James actually had relatively violent matches as opposed to what AJ Lee went through. So AJ's in-ring style was more or less get the constant level of beatdown, and then overcoming adversity and the odds and getting her finisher, where Mickie James had a much more of a back and forth sort of style. Striking. These are difficult to go through because I'm looking at this from 2 different eras. Mickie James, they had matches that actually went over 5 minutes. AJ Lee didn't really have matches that went over 5 minutes. Even when they did like the 15-woman versus AJ match at WrestleMania, it didn't get a lot of time given the amount of women involved in the match. So think about the way their offenses were done. I'll give Mickie the advantage when it comes to the striking. One of her finishers was, of course, the Mick kick, which was essentially a spinning hook kick. Not a bad-looking move. She did miss it sometimes, but she at least actually had much more of a physical brawler sort of style. Grappling. This one also gives the grappling edge to Mickie, because during the time when she did with Trish Stratus, she actually did more suplex. She actually did have a finisher that actually was a jumping, leaping DDT. She actually had moves that required more of the physical manipulation of your opponent. Now, submissions, high flying, I'll give both those to AJ. AJ being the smaller, lighter competitor. Her finisher, of course, is the Black Widow, which is a full body based submission. She also did the occasional, front missile drop kick. She was closer to a luchador style, and that's because She's 5'2". Even in the world of women, she was small. She was petite. So therefore, her wrestling size, she complemented that. So as you can tell right now, we're tied up. Mickie, of course, being this always sounds horrible to say. Don't hit me on the comments. With her being the larger of the two competitors, at 5'4", 135, she's not large. But being the larger of the two competitors, she has a much more of a power game. She has a lot more of a physical sort of game, where AJ Lee, like I mentioned this before, she's more of the cruiserweight style. It's going to be, she wants the match to go longer. She wants to wear her opponent down. She's going to use her speed. She's going to use her high flying. She's going to try to work in that submission, which requires their opponent to use their strength to lift all of AJ's body to get out of it. Over with the crowd. I have to be honest, I think that the moment you were to hear either of their musics, I think people will kind of pop for Mickie James. I think AJ's a lot more of a pop. I think that's more of, she was the one who was great, that left at the absolute peak of her career, where Mickie James, against this being an E-ring, she left just as the division was really starting to get bad. And there was the whole Mickie James thing she dealt with while dealing with Lay Cool. So if you followed her career in TNA and Shimmer, she's actually stayed fairly active in this. But again, look, it's more as a WWE sort of event. If AJ's music hits, I think you get a smart enough crowd town, they are going to go absolutely nuts. Ring psychology. They both did crazy very, very well. They both were very good at the crazy angle. As well as to quote the OSW review team, the lesbian pollen angles that they did. But I have to say, I think Mickie takes it in ring psychology. Now that might also be a byproduct of the different eras. If you watched her match with Trish Stratus at WrestleMania, you saw how she blocked the finish. And when Mickie James was full crazy, yeah, she made you believe with just this manic facial expression. AJ was good for the kind of, oh, but look at me, I'm sweet, I'm innocent. I am going to cut your face off and wear it like a mask. Which carries over from the mic work aspect, but not as much as the in-ring side. So here we go, mic work. AJ. She was given the mic, she was given free reign, and she owned it on the mic. What really pushed her crazy character was she has phenomenal mic skills. I think Mickie is a better physical actress when it comes to the crazy side, but on the mic skills, AJ is just fantastic. So if these two were to lock up in a current E environment, I do think that you've got the smaller, faster AJ, who I think can really get the crowd invested before the bell rings, and does a great job selling the match. Taking Mickie James, who will have that more of a power game, which is a perfect foil for someone like AJ, and will really be able to have that emoting that you get from a really good amount of ring psychology, where it's going to be hit a power move, AJ kicks out with a whole what's it hit to put this crazy little girl away? But I think at the end of the day, like most of AJ's matches, she will take a beating, and she'll find that one little opening to sting in the teeth of the Black Widow and secure a victory.